Please be seated. Just a quick little bit of St. Ben's trivia. The "And Crown Thy Good with Sisterhood" is due to Sister Nancy Haehn, for whom the Institute for Women's Leadership is named. And Sister Nancy pressured me for several years to change the words of America the Beautiful, and I didn't really know that I had that ability, but that's where that comes from, graduates, in case you're wondering. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Mary Ann Benninger, and I'm president of College of St. Benedict. It is indeed my great pleasure on this glorious day to welcome all of you, the families, friends, honored guests, faculty and staff, and especially the 2014 graduating class of the College of St. Benedict. We welcome you to the 99th commencement exercise. I would like to begin by introducing the members of today's platform party. On my left is Lynn Newman, Chair of the Board of Trustees. Next to Lynn is our commencement speaker for today, Michelle Norris, author of the best-selling memoir, Grace of Silence, and National Public Radio host and special correspondent. And next to Ms. Norris is the prioress of the Sisters of the Order of St. Benedict, Sister Michaela Hedekin. On my right is Dr. Joe Desjardins, Vice Provost at the College of St. Benedict and St. John's University. Next to Dr. Desjardins is Karen Bachman, who will be receiving an honorary degree today. And next to Ms. Bachman is the President of the Alumni Board, Jennifer Barta. And next to Ms. Barta is Sister Sharon Noner, Director of Campus Ministry at the College of St. Benedict. On this happy day, I welcome family and friends, faculty and staff, Sisters of the Order of St. Benedict, trustees, members of the platform party, and most especially members of the graduating class of 2014. Each year, I have a very brief opportunity to convey a message to you, something that I hope that you will hear and take with you on your journey. This year will be my final address to a graduating class at the College of St. Benedict, as I'm leaving St. Ben's this summer to move closer to family. For you seniors who are graduating, I understand more than ever what the past few weeks have been like. Packing, celebrating, working, crying. Packing, celebrating, working, crying. Take a picture. Packing, celebrating, working, crying. I get it. This year, yours and my last at St. Ben's has been a spectacular celebration. Together, we've celebrated 100 years of St. Ben's history and ushered in the next 100 years. You and I are leaving St. Ben's at the beginning of its second century. We are sisters for the second century, but will forever remain members of this special community. When I gave my inaugural address nearly a decade ago, I concluded by saying, quote, "Without each other, without understanding each other, without connecting with, inspiring, and acting for each other, we would be nothing," end quote. During your years at College of St. Benedict, I've gotten to know you through various venues: Student Senate, Intercultural Lead, Campus Ministry, MAP Corps, student research presentations, Blazer Club sporting events, Sister Nancy Haehn's Institute for Women's Leadership, in meals at the Goretzky Center, and through cohort programs like the Bonner Scholars and the Jackson Fellows, and in innumerable other ways. It is my hope that I have been able to lead in a way that you have found worthy. I hope that St. Ben's has inspired you for the next stage of your life. I know that you all have inspired me. Benny's current students and alumni are fiercely intelligent and articulate. You are very hard workers, but you are creative too. You are kind, sensitive, and courageous, strong and bold. You value the relationships and the bonds you have formed here. And you know what? Your Johnny brothers are pretty good men and fiercely intelligent too, right along with you. And you know what? For one day, 24 hours, you will have graduated from college, and they will not be college graduates. So tonight, you can... I think you've been one step ahead, but you might as well carry it out to the end. I'm also inspired by the legacy of College of St. Benedict itself. When St. Ben's was founded in 1913, women did not yet have the right to vote, and Americans were celebrating the installation of the first transcontinental telephone line. Ford sold only 180 vehicles that year, and commercial air travel was still a dream. Title IX, giving women equal access to athletics and other aspects of education, was unthinkable and wouldn't become a reality until 60 years later. It was in this context that the sisters had already founded 3 monasteries, 2 hospitals, 7 schools, and St. Benedict's Academy, which ultimately evolved into the college. In founding College of St. Benedict, they committed to educate women in the liberal arts and to prepare them for lives as leaders, professionals, scholars, and engaged members of their communities. I reflect on that commitment now and realize that our work must continue into the future. Educating women has changed dramatically in the past 100 years. Women are going to college at greater rates than men, and officially, women have access to exactly the same opportunities as men. These days, our own approach to women's education includes a wonderful partnership with St. John's, a men's college, and both colleges are much better for our partnership together. But society still places boundaries around women's achievement. Many think the need for women's colleges has passed, yet roughly 50 years of nearly universal co-education has not produced a woman president of the United States. It has not produced equal pay for equal work or work environments that are conducive to raising a family for women or for men. Men and women are still both constrained by society's gendered expectations. These barriers continue to call on St. Ben's to provide for women the best residential liberal arts education in the Catholic university tradition. The values ignite our passion to foster integrated learning, exceptional leadership for change, and wisdom for a lifetime. And the barriers also ignite us as women to be leaders and professionals, scholars and family members, and engaged members of our communities. They call us to act with the Benedictine values in our heads and in our hearts. They call us to connect with each other, to seek to understand each other, to inspire and to act for one another, and to support each other. When you are faced with a challenge or a struggle, reflect directly on your experience at St. Ben's, how your 4 years strengthened you and forged connections for you. Think about the amazing women and men you've met here, fellow students, faculty, staff members, and monastic community members, and the way they inspire you and support you in lives of purpose. You and I will forever be part of the Benny community, even as our lives take us on new and unexpected adventures. I can't wait to see what you accomplish. Thank you, and Godspeed, class of 2014. I now invite Sister Sharon Noner, Director of CSB Campus Ministry, to the podium to give the invocation.
Gracious God, we, the parents, family, friends, professors, staff, and mentors, gather here today and to ask you to shower blessings upon our time and celebration in recognition of our graduates of the College of St. Benedict. These women have spent their college years on this campus learning many things that will give them a firm foundation for the rest of their lives. On this Catholic and Benedictine college, they have witnessed and been challenged to live a life grounded in the values of their foundresses, whose vision 100 years ago has been carried forward through the graduates before them and now passed on to these women, the 2014 graduates of the College of St. Benedict. And so we pray our blessing. May you walk into the future aware of your loving presence guiding you and empowering you to do good things. May you work to form supportive communities wherever you live and work, and may these communities continue to support, bless, and challenge you to be the best you can be. May you be blessed with work that draws on your knowledge and creativity, that is useful to the world and service to God's people. May you receive and extend hospitality as if you were Christ himself, especially to the weak, homeless, the immigrant, the poor, the troubled, and the lonely. May you recognize injustice and help all to find their voice to speak up and work for the changes in their local community, society, and world that promotes dignity and respect for every person. May you listen with the ear of your heart to all the ways in which you speak, God, you speak to them, so be able to listen to others with deep care and concern. May you have stability of heart and of faith, having a sense of mission in your lives that gives you deep purpose and meaning. And may you walk gently upon the earth and care for it with courage and compassion. May you, like Saint Benedict, see the world in a single ray of light and breathe a blessing on it. With fervent hearts, we pray these blessings that each will have the strength and courage to be bearers and receivers of the values wherever you go. Amen.
It is the mark of a well-lived life, if the mark of a well-lived life is evidence in the fingerprints left on one's greatest passions, Karen Bachman's fingerprints would be visible on a number of organizations and interests, but none would be more prominent than those she's left in the arts. Karen's love for the arts has spawned an impressive list of community service and philanthropic choices. She has chaired the boards of the Weissman Art Museum, the Minnesota Opera Company, and the Guthrie Theater. She is a lifelong director of the Guthrie and Minnesota Opera, and she chaired 2 endowment campaigns for the Minnesota Opera. As a member of the Guthrie's Campaign Steering Committee, she helped drive the successful capital initiative that brought about construction of the new theater. It was obvious early on that this St. Cloud native was driven to dream and venture beyond the fringe of the familiar. She received her bachelor's degree magna cum laude in Russian from the University of Minnesota while ushering at Northrop Auditorium. Most recently, she was on the committee to celebrate the reopening of that university icon. In 1964, she began her career at Honeywell in advertising. Her unique sense for business and her insatiable commitment to personal and professional growth moved her quickly into leadership roles. She became manager and director of corporate public relations, then director and vice president of investor relations, then vice president of public and financial relations, and finally, in 1990, vice president of communications and the first woman to sit on the company's policy committee. At the time, women in corporate leadership were a rarity. Yet Karen succeeded in a 30-year career at Honeywell, shattering glass ceilings at every turn. After retiring in 1996, Karen spent 4 years as a member of Honeywell Consultants Limited, a group of retired Honeywell executives retained to represent the corporation in the community. In addition to her advocacy of the arts, Karen has served on the boards of the New Dance Ensemble, the Minnesota Women's Economic Roundtable, the World Press Institute, the Girl Scout Council of Greater Minneapolis, the United Way of Minneapolis, and the Business Economics and Education Foundation, now called Best Prep. Karen was a trustee for the College of St. Benedict from 2003 to 2012 and continues to serve on the trusteeship committee. In 1993, Karen was named to the YWCA's National Academy of Women Achievers, one of the country's most prestigious groups of professional women. She was inducted into the Twin Cities Volunteer Hall of Fame in 2002, and in 2007, she was recognized as the Outstanding Volunteer Fundraiser of the Year by the Minnesota chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Beyond her countless volunteer hours, Karen recognizes that without financial support, the organizations that bring depth, beauty, and transformation into our lives cannot survive. For this reason, she promotes charitable giving and intends to allocate a portion of her retirement fund to philanthropic purposes. Karen, could you please join me up here at the podium? In proud recognition of her impressive accomplishments in her prolific professional career and as a passionate community volunteer, I hereby confer on Karen Bachman an honorary doctorate of humane letters. Before I introduce our 2014 guest speaker, I'd like to give you some background. I am thrilled to have Michelle Norris with us today. We invited her several months ago to be our commencement speaker, but I suspect that you will see some relationship between her personal biography and some of the contents of her talk to conversations we have been having on campus at St. Ben's and St. John's for the past couple of weeks. We've learned more than ever about the importance of the Benedictine value of listening with the ear of our hearts, perhaps most importantly, listening to the other. While Ms. Norris's message is not the result of our campus conversations, it's fortuitous that her message may be most heard because of its deeper meaning to our community at this moment in our history. At this time, I would like to tell you a little bit about our commencement speaker, Michelle Norris. Michelle Norris is an award-winning journalist with more than 2 decades of experience. She is currently a host and special correspondent for National Public Radio. Previously, Norris served as co-host of NPR's news magazine, All Things Considered, public radio's longest-running national program, with Robert Siegel and Melissa Block. Norris began hosting the program in December 2002 and stepped away from her All Things Considered duties in during the 2012 presidential campaign. While on sabbatical, Norris spent a time traveling the country and developing 2 successful initiatives. First, the Race Card Project and NPR's Backseat Book Club. Her new role will allow her to continue this work while producing in-depth segments for all NPR programs. Michelle Norris has a voice that is undeniably recognizable and that embodies both authority and calm. Captivating and astute on air, Norris has presented leading news, weighing in on American culture, including race and the influence of new media. Prior to her tenure at NPR, she served as ABC News correspondent, where she covered education, America's inner cities, the national drug problem, poverty, and most recognizably, the aftermath of 9/11. Norris has received many honors in journalism for her insight into American culture and social issues, including the Peabody Award, DuPont Award, the Journalist of the Year by the National Association of Black Journalists. She was recently named one of Essence Magazine's 25 most influential Black Americans. In September 2010, Norris published her first book, The Grace of Silence, a memoir. The book focuses on how America talks about race in the wake of the Obama presidency and how her own complex legacy has shaped her dedication to informing others through sound and voice. Perhaps of special interest to many of you is that Michelle Norris is a Minnesotan. She was born in Minneapolis, attended Washburn High School, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and the University of Minnesota, and she also dated a guy in high school who became a Johnny. And she came up to visit him here his first year. So that was her first familiarity with our campus. It is now my great pleasure to invite Michelle Norris to deliver her 2014 commencement address. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Ms. Norris.
President Benedict, thank you so much. My mom is in the audience, and she might be thinking, I didn't know you went up there to visit him. Good day to the regents, the faculty, the family, the alumni, distinguished guests, and especially to the graduates, to the class of 2014. I am so honored to be with you here today. And I'm also honored to share this stage with Karen Bachman. Congratulations on your honorary degree. You are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you very much for your service and for using your passion to lift us all up. Thank you for allowing me to speak with all of you today and for allowing me to return to my beloved state of Minnesota. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be here at this wonderful institution. When you heard President Benedict talk about my voice, some of you may be familiar with that because I'm betting that some of you are prisoners of public radio yourself. Maybe raised in households where you were forced to listen at the kitchen table when you were doing your homework, or in the back seat of the car. Despite all the things that you say, I'm mainly a girl that talks on the radio and a girl that listens, a woman who listens, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I love college graduations. And one of the things I love so much about college graduations is that it is a moment filled with possibility and awe. There are some of you out there whose parents are looking forward and looking at the backs of your head and wondering, you know, I'm so proud of you. Some of them, you can't see your parents because they're behind you, but they're smiling so broadly because they're so happy for this day. But some of them also might have been wondering if you were going to make it to this day. Some of them wondered if they were going to make it to this day. Your dreams may have exceeded their savings accounts. But you know what? They made it work. And we all know that in some cases, your family's dreams may have exceeded your ability to get up for that 8 a.m. class consistently. But you made it work. And you all made it to this spectacular moment. And I say you all made it because those of you wearing those tassels did not get here by yourself. You had a lot of help. And I know this for a fact because my family continues to provide me with the wind beneath my sails. I am here today with my mother, who lives here in the state of Minnesota, and my young cousin, Kiara Ray, who is a Benny herself. And this means that this experience is deepened for me because we have a Benny in the family. And just a word about my mother. I just want to give her a quick shout out, and a shout out to parents in general. My mother taught me an important lesson. Never give up on a dream just because of the time it'll take to accomplish it. I was able to walk across the stage at my college graduation, which was about 1,000 years ago, but I was able to do that because Betty Norris told me to hold on to my dreams and to nurture them, and I'm able to return to this stage today because she continues to support me. I was a kid who grew up with a little bit of a speech impediment. You notice that I have a script in front of me now that I require, that I have to look down on because my dreams didn't necessarily match my skill set as a young person. It's amazing, especially to me, that I make my living in communication, given the fact that speaking was not always easy for me. So I wanted to give a shout out to my mother because she's here. And I want to give a shout out to the parents in the audience because they're here. And I want you to think about that support system that you have had because it is as strong as the pillars that hold up the ceiling above us. You are here because you had a support system. So for all the parents and the grandparents and the guardians who stayed up late to help you study for the SATs, who sacrificed new cars and vacations, who dined on leftovers more than they care to remember, the families that postponed home repairs and dental surgery so they could sock away money for your tuition, and also the families that not so long ago arrived here from distant places, from Vietnam and Somalia, Thailand and Mexico, former Soviet republics, speaking little English and possessing little more than the dream that you might one day march across this stage. This is your day. But I'm going to ask you to take just a minute of your time to thank all of the people who made this day possible. Please give your families a nod of thanks, a great big round of applause. And if you feel like it, say their names out loud. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. Now, I know you all came here with the expectation that I might pass on morsels of wisdom and share a few stories about life and love and liberty or something like that. But I also know that the most important expectation that you had is that I not talk too long. And so I will try to honor that so you can get your hands on that important piece of paper that you've worked so hard for and go forth and celebrate this next chapter in your lives. That piece of paper is tremendously important, but it represents something that carries even more currency. How will you use the knowledge that you absorbed in the pursuit of that degree? How will you harness that knowledge to become the caretakers of our culture, our politics, our economy, our moral compass, and our national character? How will you reach across cultures and disciplines and dialects to solve the world's problems? Because in a whole lot of areas, the current caretakers have left behind a bit of a mess. We need you to solve the world's problems. And we need you to light a candle for the world with the power of your mind and the strength of your ideas. I'm a journalist now, but when I first went to college, I was studying electrical engineering. I studied electrical engineering for 3.5 years and then changed my major after 3.5 years with the finish line in sight. I decided I wanted to work in communications, to be a journalist, and it's a bit of an understatement to say that my parents flipped out when I changed my major. I mean, they really flipped out. And I know that that's a turn of phrase, but my father in particular almost turned over. He was fatutzed. He almost did a backward flip. Because engineers build things. Tangible things, building, bridges, medical devices, chemical compounds. I wanted to be a journalist, though. I felt a different calling, and I wanted to be a newspaper journalist at first. And my parents thought, well, wait, newspapers are what you use to wrap up fish, before you put them in the freezer. But eventually my parents came around and they gave me their blessings, and they gave me confidence in my decision. It was something in particular that my father said that let me know that we were going to be okay. That ideas can outlast even the strongest structures. There's something to that. There's something important to that. Long after dynasties have fallen and bridges have crumbled, long after currency is frayed around the edges and monuments have turned to dust, ideas survive. I look out at your faces, at the sisterhood here, and I feel such a swell of pride and hope, and I know that you will embrace the honor of entering that special fellowship of highly educated women, but I also pray that you will accept the responsibilities that come along with this privilege, the responsibility to uphold the most important of ideas. We're hoping that your generation will not just be smart, but will also be wise. And you have a great start on that because of the creed that you follow here at this university. How wonderful the world would be if we all took these values and pasted them somewhere where we could see them every single day, those Benedictine values. To have awareness of God, to look for God in everyday events, and not just in the sunsets and the beauty of falling snowflakes, but also in the devastation after a tornado or a family tragedy. Those Benedictine values tell us to look for God everywhere, to look for God in the rubble after an earthquake in a place like Haiti. Looking for God, even in those toughest moments, gives us hope and strength and a blueprint for what we need to do to make things better. Those values ask us to work toward justice in our immediate environment, but also in a larger society. Those values tell us to strive for peace and appreciate the dignity of work and to respect each person, regardless of class or cultural background or professional skill. And those values ask that you listen. Listen with the ear of your heart, to listen keenly and sensitively, to hear the voices of all people and all created beings. And I want to spend just a little bit of time focusing on that idea, listening, and what it means to be a good listener. And it's probably no surprise that someone who makes a living talking on the radio would want to spend a little bit of time talking about listening, and I promise that I'm not going to break out into some sort of NPR fundraising drive. I'm not going to pass out mugs or tote bags or deliver weather on the 8s. Although I do hope you are indeed avid radio listeners, particularly NPR listeners. But I'm talking about a different kind of listenership. I'm talking about the importance of taking in the outside world, of being open to the outside world through all of your senses. the particular importance of the power of listening. And this is particularly important, I think, for your generation and for this moment. And I realize this because I spent a lot of time visiting college campuses talking about the work I do through the Race Card Project. And I realized something after spending so much time on college campuses in the past few years, and it's particularly pronounced on college campuses, although you see it everywhere. And I'm talking about when you walk around, those things that always seem to be hanging from your ears. You know what I'm talking about? Those earbuds, headsets, earphones, Bluetooth head jacks, all those little devices that are attached to your head. You know what I'm talking about. You see them everywhere, swarms of students moving about campus in their own little world, talking out loud sometimes to someone on a phone half a world away, lost in the rhythm of the music that only they can hear. There are dance parties that kids go to where they don't play music out loud. Instead, everyone tunes into the same station, and they all listen to the music and dance, all in the same rhythm, but they're not actually listening to the music collectively. They're listening individually. This hit me when I visited the University of Wisconsin, where I did the first 3 years of my undergraduate study. There's this big hill in the center of campus. It's called Bascom Hill. And I remember visiting the campus, and when I was walking up that hill, I could judge whether I was in good shape or not because we were always talking about something as we tried to walk up the hill. And if I was in good shape, I could have a conversation about the events of the day or this great new album that I was fascinated with. And if I wasn't in good shape, I was huffing and puffing my way as I tried to get up that hill. And when I returned to campus, I realized something. When I was up on a morning run, charging up that hill, there was utter silence. The students were all walking with each other, but everybody had a headset on. No one was talking to each other. Everyone was lost in their own little world, and I was so struck by that silence that I wrote about it at the time. I said, people always predict or perhaps pray that the millennials will lead the conversation about difficult topics because their alleged ease with subjects like race or gay marriage or divides in gender or religion. That morning, it was hard to imagine those young people leading any kind of conversation. Even in the student union, where students gather for breakfast, in the same place they gather for pilsners of beer later in the day, young people were seated in silence over bowls of cereal and oatmeal, listening to music or texting furiously to someone somewhere else while ignoring the person sitting inches away. I wondered if that represented progress. I'm not sure it does. Why those earbuds really do close out the world to allow us to listen to our favorite music or phone calls or some sort of scintillating podcast, they serve as a metaphor for something else. And I worry that we're losing the ability to listen closely to each other and to listen to ourselves. And this should maybe cause us some concern. All of our senses are important, but listening is a particularly important skill. It allows us to understand our environment faster than any other sense. Before you can touch something, before you can fully comprehend what you see, the body is already processing sound. A chain of neurons form in your ears and your spine triggers all kinds of responses. And I recognize that not everyone has the ability to hear or even to hear clearly, but they have the ability to connect with others, and sometimes using other senses, but that's harder to do when everyone has their own personal sound booth, when everyone is lost in their own world. Sometimes you have to be where you are. Sometimes you have to be where you are. You see, sometimes in your lifetimes, for the young people here, people stopped experiencing concerts and sporting events and birthday parties and started using small handheld devices to document the moment for future enjoyment. Sometime in your lifetime, people started wearing headphones 24/7. Sometime in your lifetime, people stopped experiencing something, but rather experiencing it through the phone. I took my kids to a Beyonce concert, which makes me the coolest mom in the world. And a Beyonce concert is something to behold. There's this big stage, and she's whipping her hair around, and she's dancing in ways that I don't dare do in a place like this. And she walks out into it's almost like a peninsula, the stage that goes out into the audience. And she walks her way out there, and as she does this, it's this moment that she's supposed to connect with the audience. She's singing this torch song, and she's putting her hand out to people, and she wants to connect and to make eye contact. And you know what she sees on the other side of the stage? Everyone's holding up a phone, taking a picture of the moment. Not in the moment. She literally can't find anyone who has a free hand to grab hers because they're all taking a picture of the moment. They're not in the moment. The concern is that we're losing the ability to actively listen and to engage in deep and meaningful conversations or to connect with each other. As we pull deeper inside ourselves, are we putting less of a premium on engagement? What are we missing when we tune out to the outside world? I think quite a bit about this because of the work that I do through this exercise I've been involved in for the past 4 years. I run something called the Race Card Project. When you came in this room, you may have had a postcard on your seat that asked you to think about the word race and to share your thoughts in just 6 words. I collect stories about race in 6 words, stories about race and cultural identity, really short stories. They're only 6 words long. And you see, I was trying to figure out when I started this project how to jumpstart an open and candid conversation about race. So I asked people to think about their views, experiences, their observations, their triumphs, their laments, or their anthem, and to condense it to 1 sentence, and then to make it interesting to go 1 step further, to reduce that sentence to just 6 words. And people share those 6-word thoughts with me on those postcards, or they email them to me through a large website that I run. And I had no idea when I first started this, that people would take the bait. My husband thought I was crazy for spending our money on all those postcards. My mom, who, as I noted, was in the audience, thought I was a little bit crazy, but as a retired postal worker, she was really happy that I was supporting the U.S. Postal Service. And I had no idea if people would actually send in their thoughts. But people took the bait. A lot of people took the bait. Of the first 200 cards I printed, about 30% came back to me, and so I printed more and more, and through the website I collect these cards, and now tens of thousands of people have sent in their 6-word stories, their 6-word essays, their 6-word thoughts on race, and in many cases those 6 words are just a beginning. They go on to submit full essays and accompanying comments explaining why they chose those 6 particular words, and you'd be amazed at how much people could pack into just a small package. We must live with our ghost, 6 words. White people, not the only bigots, 6 words. Not better or worse, just different. Stolen land, identity adrift, we persevere, 6 words. The 6-word statements are sharp-edged and clear-eyed and honest. Oh boy, are they honest. Reason I ended a sweet relationship. I'm only Asian when it's convenient. You're not really black. White, not allowed to be proud. No, you cannot touch my hair. Please stop saying I am articulate. Grandma, you can't say that anymore. Grandma sent $100 when we broke up. Sometimes they're upbeat, sometimes they're offbeat. Only one race, the human race. Human DNA, 99% the same. Checked cosmic in the race box. Total non-issue when the aliens arrive. Underneath, we all taste like chicken. The submissions are funny and painful and complex and very revealing. And they have provided a lesson for me more powerful than anything I've ever heard in a classroom or a newsroom. People often tell me that conversations about race or the subject of race forms a kind of silent force field where people are afraid to talk openly about it. To do so is much like walking through a minefield. Take a misstep and the results are potentially catastrophic or embarrassing. The race card experiment gives people a portal for that conversation, and it underscores that race is broader than we often realize. It does not just involve people with darker skins or urban backgrounds. For instance, on college campuses, I've often heard from small-town students who feel marginalized because their families lack education or wealth. I've heard from Asians and Middle Easterners or Eastern Europeans who feel left out of discussions about race. Students who come from distant lands say they never even thought about race until they came to America, where everyone seems to be pushing forms in their direction, asking them to check little boxes that define their identity. In this country, even at this moment, it's easy to see how race and diversity and the debate over diversity can be a burden. It's easy to see it as a burden because the debate over equity and opportunity has created all kinds of side-eye assumptions and divides. And sure, the debate can be burdensome and tricky, but I want you to think of it perhaps in a different way. And I was reminded of this when I did some research not long ago in the lead up to the anniversary for the March on Washington. I was looking at old clips and coverage of the March on Washington, which took place on the National Mall in August of 1963. And in the coverage of the march, particularly the overseas coverage, foreign journalists who were writing about that moment, they noted something. They were struck by the diversity in America. And in America, this was something interesting because in 1963, in August of 63, it was the first large mass march in this country, and it was also the first large mass march where people of different colors were all in one place. And for those people who came together, it was the first time many of them had actually stood next to someone of another race. You've heard of that moment, that spontaneous moment where people locked hands and started singing, "We Shall Overcome." Well, in that moment, that was the first time that many people had actually clasped the hand of someone of another race. When journalists overseas wrote about that moment, they were wowed by the tapestry of humanity they saw in America. And in many cases, they still are. If you look at coverage overseas of this country, people marvel at our diversity. They often call it the Great American Tapestry. And they see it as one of the things that makes this country great. They would visit a campus like this, and they would note that it's one of the things that makes this campus great. And the question is, do we see it that way? Do we see diversity as our strength? Do we see this tapestry as a strength or a burden? My generation may have done your generation a bit of a disservice by repeatedly telling you that race is a difficult subject to talk about. It has become this self-fulfilling prophecy, this notion that race is a toxic topic. Racism is toxic. I hope that in my lifetime we truly get to a post-racism society. But race, well, that describes who we are. A country of many races and faiths and creeds and backgrounds. A multi-hued, variegated sea of humanity that represents all kinds of diversity. Race, gender, religion, socioeconomic status, military service, geographic alliance, dialect. And of course, there are things that will divide any group with all that variegation, but there are also the things that connect us. Our humanity, our collective interest in this planet that we all occupy, our devotion to the Vikings and the twins. Your graduation, it coincides with an important judicial milestone in this country. Today is May 17th. And on May 17, 1954, Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren delivered a unanimous ruling in the landmark civil rights case Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas. And that ruling held that state-sanctioned segregation of public schools was a violation of the 14th Amendment and therefore was unconstitutional. Now, that ruling did not mean segregation in all places would end. It took another decade with the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964 to make segregation in places like bus terminals and movie theaters and restaurants illegal. And while you know the phrase Brown versus Board of Education, do you know the people that represents? Linda Brown and her sister Cheryl Brown, now Cheryl Brown Henderson. Linda Brown was a third grade student, and when you look back at the coverage of that day, she was this small child who was attending school or attempting to attend school and walking past a sea of people who had emotions of all kind evident on their faces. A combination of hatred and frustration, folks who just seemed to be perplexed. Why would they want to upset the apple cart like this? Can't we just keep things the way they are? Over time, the lawsuit and the push for integration gained momentum, spurred on by laws and court rulings that were championed by and issued by leaders who themselves grew up in segregated circumstances, but were able to hear the winds of change. They were able to see the country was changing, and they were able to hear arguments that opened up their mind and their hearts. Because your graduation falls on this day, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look around, to literally look around. Use your neck. Look to your right and look to your left. Look behind you. Look at this room. You too. You too. Look around. And as you do, understand that what you see as you look around is something that you should never take for granted, because in this country, and even in this great state of Minnesota with all of its tolerance and political correctness, and I say that with love in my heart, even in this state, a room of this composition would have been unusual not long ago, even within my lifetime. A room of this composition would have made a lot of people uncomfortable, and in many places in America, it would have been illegal. Understand, please, as you go out into the world, the courage required to recreate an environment that we now see as just standard. Never take that for granted. Never take this for granted. No matter how far you travel after graduation, no matter how far your talents and your dreams and your new skills take you, make sure that a piece of this moment always lives in you. That a piece of this magnificent institution always lives with you. And before I leave, before I step aside, just a little quick advice. When you go out into the world, think about the people who helped create this environment. And think of what it took. So please, as you push us further along and try to create an even better world for the next generation, please be bold. Please be kind, be gracious, be curious, be where you are. Don't be afraid of change. It's a waste of time. Write your future in pencil. It's easier to erase if you change your mind. Write an occasional letter, not an email, an actual letter. And this said by someone who was raised by 2 postal workers. Nothing can match the grace and impact of a handwritten letter on lovely stationery. Email is fine, but a letter, especially a love letter, is something that can be cherished in a shoebox under your bed. As you go out and conquer the world, you will do well to remember all those who make your life a little easier, a little more comfortable, a little safer. The folks that park your car, clean your office, the people who stay behind in this room to clean up this hall when you've headed off to your celebrations. When you see a person with a shovel or a broom or a construction hat, remember that while they may not share your zip code or your professional fraternity or sorority in this case, I am willing to bet they share your aspirations and they may share your values or your love of this great state. When you honor all those you encounter, you lift up this university this college in a very special way. Take care of each other. Take care of this planet. Take time for the people that you love, because nothing matters more. To the class of 2014, it has been such an honor to be with you today. Go out and get your blessings. They're waiting for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce today's student speaker, Erin Whistler. Erin is a chemistry major and theology minor from Indianapolis, Indiana. She successfully completed her research for her capstone on the polymerization of lactones and lactides, and was awarded the Distinctive Service Award by the chemistry department. During her time on campus, Erin has worked as a residential assistant and community advisor, has served as upper class representative on the St. Ben's Senate, participated on and off stage in a number of the theater department's productions, and worked as a chemistry teaching assistant. She has also volunteered through Anna Marie's Alliance and Visto during her time at St. Ben's, and has been an active participant in Benedict and Friends and Companions on a Journey. She co-led an alternative break experience trip to Cold Spring, Minnesota, and was an avid cheerleader and player on her intramural volleyball team. After graduation, she will be spending a year serving in the AmeriCorps, which is the Domestic Peace Corps. And much to her family's delight, she will also be serving Alumni Connections at the Oaks Academy in her hometown, Indianapolis. She hopes to attend graduate school for public health in the near future. Won't you please welcome Erin with a round of applause.
In our ever-prevalent mission of avoiding homework or projects or real life, our generation has come up with several means of distraction. There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Reddit, Tumblr. The biggest time waster for me this year has been BuzzFeed, which is a site where you can take a plethora of quizzes that determine everything from what color aura you have to what cartoon character would be your best friend. So between finding out which Frozen character I am and which 90s boy band member should be my boyfriend, I stumbled across a quiz entitled, "What grade in life are you getting?" It made me wonder, if I were to evaluate my experience here, what grade would I give it? So, I prepared a quiz for all of you. Ready? First question. What is your favorite activity outside of school? Eating Gary's at 2 in the morning? Festival of Cultures? Jumping in Lake Sag before the ice is fully melted? Hashtag polar plunge. Thanksgiving dinner with the monks? Or free hugs from the sisters? What do you look for in a best friend? Someone who will pull an all-nighter with you just to go to 4 a.m. waffles at the local blend? A girl who strikes up a random and potentially awkward conversation with you on the link? A person who will listen to your speech 5 times and still cry every time? A bestie who takes notes for you when you just can't quite make it to your 8 a.m. What's the state of your apartment right now? I should probably file a few maintenance requests. The bookstore had a sale, clothes everywhere. I should really return those Gretzky dishes I borrowed. I'm all packed up and ready to be checked out. What has your biggest accomplishment been thus far? Intramural championship, duh. Surviving organic chemistry? Immersing yourself in another culture on a study abroad or ABE trip? Being the first person in your family to graduate from college? A genie comes and grants you 3 wishes. What do you wish for? I wish for 1 more scoop of chocolate lava. I wish for more days filled with yoga pants and Benny buns. I wish that the professors knew how much we appreciated them. I wish the future Bennies understand how lucky they are to go here. Obviously, I have no algorithm to figure out what grade each of you gave your experience. However, there are a few components I know we all experience through our time here. We gain confidence in our academic capabilities. Don't believe me? Go reread your FYS research paper. We gained wisdom from the support of our professors and administrators. We gained patience waiting in the laundry room for the other girl to be done with her 4th load. We gained our voice by standing up for what we believe in and taking action to unite our community regardless of what side we were on. We gained appreciation for the sacrifices each of our families had to make in order for us to go here. But most of all, we gained sisters who have seen us at our best and at our worst. I don't know if I could ever put a numeric value on this place, because my experience here has been priceless. It's easy to get bogged down by the unknown. How am I ever going to finish paying student loans? What's going to happen next? Am I going to be able to walk in these shoes today? Notice I didn't trip. There are innumerable I don't knows swirling around right now. But there's one thing I'm absolutely certain of. Coming to this small, wonderful, and unnaturally cold town made me the strong, independent, and courageous young woman I am today. And because of my A+ experience here, I'm ready to traverse the unknown shores and charter the mystery that is the next step. It is with a deep gratitude and an everlasting love that I now ask St. Ben's to send me on my way. Thank you.
Today's program lists 495 candidates for the baccalaureate degree. The College of St. Benedict is happy to recognize these degree candidates. It's understood that the appropriate degrees are earned by the candidates who successfully complete all requirements for that degree. Will the candidates for the degree please rise? Ladies. Dr. Marianne Banniger, President of the College of St. Benedict, these students are now presented to you for conferral of the appropriate degrees.
On the recommendation of the faculty of the College of St. Benedict and St. John's University, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon those candidates whose names appear in the commencement program the appropriate Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees indicated, with all the attendant rights and privileges of which the degrees to be given to them shall be forever the testimony. Now I ask Dr. Joe Desjardins, Vice Provost, to read the names of our candidates for degrees.
Students, please be seated. And if I may ask the audience, please, to hold your applause until all the candidates have received their degrees. Thank you. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honors, egregia cum laude: Catherine Gabrielle Gatiss, Stephanie Ann Noyes. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honors, summa cum laude: Alyssa Catherine Anderson, Maria Kathleen Anderson, Jenna Ann Bosch, Amanda Danielle Brown, Sarah Rose Bierman, Hannah Marie Christensen, Andrea Louise Dilla, Rebecca Elizabeth Goodnecht, Abby K. Hendricks, Emma Carlin Henke, Margaret Catherine Holm, Nicole Lynn Kirkvold, Lisa Ann Napick, Caitlin Elizabeth Lauer, Brooklyn Victoria Leach, Natalie Marie Lesage, Catherine Ann Liberco, Jennifer Marie Line, Amanda Sue Lubby, Rachel Elise Mullen, Nicole Emily Noyes, Madeline Ann O'Brien, Elizabeth Erin Peichel, Katie Lynn Spoden, Bridget Renee Springer, Caitlin Justine Swanson, Kelsey Ann Wires, candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honors, magna cum laude, Lexi Louise Alm, Brittany Rachel Ayers, Heather Ashley Beckius, Kimberly Marie Borgerding, Colleen Elizabeth Bouchard, Brianna Rose Chapman, Kendra Christine Coleman, Lauren Colleen Curry, Denisha Sasha Dean, Hannah Susan Inanna DeBloa, Janie Christine Driver, Amanda Catherine Dvorak, Samantha Lynn Eksted, Marceline Ann Gangle, Rose Louise Gangle, Maria Elizabeth Getke, Gracie Marie Gorman, Lindsay Sarah Grasky, Ashley Laura Hager, Robin Ann Marie Hall, Sarah Marie Higgins, Jamie Lynn Hoffman, Erin Lynn Hultgren, Caitlin Jean Huntington, Michelle Marie Isaac, Maria Isabella Jagodinsky, Laura Rose Jellinger, Tricia Nicole Johnson, Leah Marie Colgren, Anne Kathleen Campa, Colleen Regina Kennedy, Chelsea Violet Komarek, Courtney Ann Kramer, Anna Elise Krieger, Emily Tessa Cruels, Mackenzie Ann Lisi, Alexandra Christine Lenz, Margaret Lynn Lobianco, Bernadette Alexis Martinez, Sophia Louise May, Catherine Lynn McDermott, Olivia Rose Meyer, Rachel Joan Michaelis, Abby Jean Moore, Nu Phan Tuan Nguyen, Kayla Marie Parker, Stephanie Jean Pincala, Melissa Emily Pinkowski, Lydia Beatrice Ricard, Kelsey Elizabeth Risto, Margaret Elizabeth Raisler, Angela Marie Stevens, Ariana Madeline Stokes, Lita Rowe Stry, Melissa Elizabeth Stuckey, Lauren Bethany Toma, Sarah Beth Tiemens, Michelle Ann Scheida, Kimberly Jo Vipon, Maya Louise Winterfeld, Amanda Lynn Witchen, Rachel May Webben. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honors Cum Laude, Victoria Marie Borchard, Elizabeth Jo Camber, Molly Jean Carey, Kathleen Marie de St. Aubin, Samantha Christine Doty, Jennifer Renee Hall, Rachel Ann Kelsenberg, Catherine Burke Kenfield, Laura Marie Kosh, Camry Lauren Martinez, Kirsten Elizabeth Maxim, Caitlin Marie Miller, Shaughnessy Margaret Miller, Magdalene Ruth Morris, Samantha Marie Muldoon, Catherine Margaret Murnane, Erin Elizabeth Noel, Nikki Shayna Orth, Michaela Rose Patton, Catherine Elizabeth Redmond, Katie Jean Schwab, Kayla Leanne Steffen, Shannon Lynn Stein, Lindsay Marie Tholen, Madeline Rose Tompkins, Jenna Marie Vogel, Elizabeth Erin Watson, Kelly Sue Windsor, Erin Elizabeth Wurzberger, Yaohua Yao, Julie Marie Zaborowski, Candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science with honors, egregia cum laude, Kayla Lorraine Anderson. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science with honors, summa cum laude, Andrea Nicole Eberhardt. Marit Pauline Frowney. Haley Marie Riedel. Megan Lee Segrest. Julie Marie Thermos. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Science with honors, magna cum laude, Amy Catherine Kaminsky. Kimberly Christine Cohorst. Isabel Ann Porter. Carly Jean Queenan. Susie Xiong. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science with honors, cum laude, Megan Teresa Batista. Jordan Marie Johnson. Paula Kathleen Kearns. Jenna Victoria Stomas. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Victoria Kafwe Yawa Lillian Adafuoli. Brianna K. Ehrenholtz. Itisha Elizabeth Alexander. Nicole Catherine Alley. Maria Rose Anderson. Hannah Catherine Anderson. Kirsten Ann Anderson. Michelle Sarah Anderson. Hannah Lee Anama. Tasha Maria Arigamath. Paige McQuay Cheryl Armbrister. Ashley Ann Bagenstoss. Greta Lynn Byery. Julie Elizabeth Bakos. Catherine Ann Barkley. Brianna Caitlin Barrett. Allison Ann Bauer. Hiwoti Tedesi Bakale. Molly Catherine Bell. Josie Marie Belter. Megan Marie Bergen. Constance Colleen Berger. Falon Veronique Bethel. Rachel Ann Biersbach. Brittany Lee Billiet. Jessica Kristen Beiser. Alexandra Jody Christine Bewer. Kristen Elizabeth Bjork. Brianna Rose Blatzheim. Alexa Ray Bollig. Megan Elizabeth Bolin. Melissa Ann Bradley. Alexandra Marie Brankel, Christine Ann Broderson, Erin Catherine Brown, Marissa Elizabeth Breyer, Nok Hong Bui, Christina Ann Burke, Ann Catherine Burness, Kathleen Elizabeth Burns, Sarah Elizabeth Buski, Callie Megan Byers, Sarah Callaway Calhoun, Caitlin Elizabeth Canavati, Megan Sandra Carta, Lanisha Rose Karen, Yvette Carronza, Abby Rose Carver, Emily Rose Casebolt, Cassandra Sophia Cavello, Annika Farsine Chaudhary, Leah Marie Christensen, Catherine Margaret Coca, Madeline Burke Coca, Megan Rosebud Connolly, Yesenia Corral, Elena Marie Cranston, Keegan Elizabeth Crouse, Kelsey Hannah Dagan, Morgan Catherine Dale, Brianna Camille Daniels, Tasha Joe Daniels, Ellen Marie Dean, Jennifer Ann Degelman, Ashley Antoinette Delp, Melissa Marie DeOrio, Kayla Marie Deitz, Sarah Catherine Deitz, Nicole Eileen DeWeese, Laura Catherine Dickhouse, Amanda Lynn Dixon, Andrea Marie Driscoll, Marissa Rael Drontel, Danelle Marie Dupong, Emily Ann Eckhoff, Ariel Louise Edwards, Lindsay Ann Enval, Dominique Veronica Evich, Rebecca Ann Fondrick, Haley Suzanne Faust, Caitlin Marie Fernholtz, Alyssa Jo Finiscard, Jenna Marie Ferner, Megan Elizabeth Flaherty, Elizabeth Ann Flynn, Maureen Marilyn Flynn, Claire Elizabeth Foley, Alice Rose Foreign, Stella Jane Fredrickson, Tara Michelle Frisbee, Adriana Helena Cecilia Gabrus, Christine Minnie Gaditz, Isabel Jo Gurmscheid Gates, Maria Gabriela Galeano Gutierrez, Christina Lee Jean Gast, Lauren Marie Gavin, Megan Catherine Gebhardt, Erin Rose Geyer, Jane Charlotte Gengel, Carol Jocelyn Giron, Jenna Marie Glass, Alexa Ray Getch, Mary Anna Gondringer, Teresa Jean Gagne, Cindy Liliana Gonzalez, Caitlin Christensen Goodman, Kayla Mary Gottwalt, Emily Kate Grimel, Meredith May Grivna, Kendra Marie Guck, Cynthia Goodell, Anna Lynn Gunter, Emily Grace Gustafson, Colleen Claire Haggerty, Rebecca Marie Hale, Jin-Shi Hun, Christine Catherine Hanish, Abby Elizabeth Hanson, Annie Catherine Hanson, Jamie Ann Hanton, Kirsty Marie Harmdirks, Kendall Ann Harstad, Katerina Maria Hassel, Amelia Ruby Hauk, Susanna Catherine Haehn, Emily Louise Haehn, Jessica Ann Hegum, Catherine Elizabeth Helm, Paige Lynn Hendrickson, Kia Her, Gaojoa Pang Her, Pa Di Her, Tasha Teresa Herlovsky, Amanda Jane Heimbaugh, Andy Lee Holdener, Allison Marie Holtz, Alyssa Emily Rose Hoppy, Molly Jane Horton, Yuan Huang, Emily Elizabeth Huber, Gretchen Lynn Hughes, Julie Ann Hullstrand, Molly J. Hutchins, Samantha Rose Imholt, Melissa Lee Jacobs, Crystal Marie Jacobson, Kelsey Rose Jacobson, Abigail Rose Jarnott, Mary Caitlin Jenkins, Leslie Jarrett Jimenez Marino, Emily Marie Johnson, Molly Irene Johnson, Erin Tiffany Jones, Amber Lee Jude, Olivia Catherine Kalkman, Hasini Anathara Kalpaji, Michaela Teresa Karnick, Stephanie K. Kellner, Claire Mary Kelly, Molly Carla Kelly, Treasure Watina Kenny, Lauren Ann Kessler, Angelica Jewel Aguila Key, Lori Elizabeth Kirkland, Jordan Elizabeth Kistner, Samantha Marie Kistner, Abby Marie Klassen, Laura Catherine Neck, Caitlin Marie Krieg, Katie Lynn Kronzer, Mackenzie Ray Cruz, Alice Ka-In Kwok, Catherine Ann Kutsky, Ashley Elizabeth LaLiberty, Natalie Ann Landwehr, Katharina Larrier, Nicole Catherine Larson, Kelsey Elizabeth Larson, Casey Alexandra Loudenbach, Hannah Eve Loudenbach, Genevieve Anna Lawler, Margaret May Leathers, Kelsey Janelle LeClaire, Kao Yua Lee, Mai Nua Lee, Madeline Cassidy Lenker, Allison Catherine Lai, Kelly Rose Libert, Danielle Marie Liebel, Marissa Jo Locke, Mary Margaret Long, Melissa Marie Lopez, Lisa Lohr, Abby Diane Lundeen, Tara Christine Moss, Kaya Marie Magnuson, Kelsey Marie Martin, Alyssa Kathleen Mason, Samantha Grace Massey, Kaylee Ann Matthews, Kelsey Ann Mathiasen, Sarah Beth Matthews, Hannah Sidney Maxbauer, Taylor Catherine McCall, Madison Ray Mick, Heidi Ann Milkey, Anne Marie Mahachek Milbert, Margot Ann Minia, Kathleen Josephine Minahan, Christiane K. Mall, Dakota Dawn Maury, Abby Lynn Maritko, Stephanie Marie Morphew, Haley Ann Matschenbacher, Rachel Elizabeth Newman, Allison Lois Nielsen, Kinsey Ann Norton, Kelsey Erin Novak, Amanda Rose Nussbaum, Megan Maureen O'Brien, Maggie Fallon O'Donnell, Julianne Oakes, Madeline Ann Ogren, Amy Lee Olson, Catherine Jean Olson, Alyssa Marie Overton, Jana Chanel Patka, Catherine Marie Paul, Catherine Marie Purse, Molly Elizabeth June Peck, Yumong Met Pong, Lindsay Allison Percival, Holly Suzanne Peterson, Kelsey Lynn Peterson, Taylor Elizabeth Peterson, Carissa Renee Farr, Molly Elizabeth Flipson, Jamie K. Plumbaum, Christina May Pollock, Hannah Jane Powers, Chelsea Marie Rachel, Mariah Danae Railsbeck, Lane Madeline Rakowski, Taylor Dana Reeves, Nicole Marie Rexigel, Molly Elizabeth Rieger, Emily Marie Reimer, Brianna Marie Ritchie, Marissa Kate Ranowski. Emily Claire Roberts. Caitlin Marie Rolando. Sharissa Carmel Romero. Jillian Marie Samper. Carla Maria Saunders. Whitney Alicia Sawyer. Tracy Lynn Sheffers. Erin Marie Schley. Abby Elizabeth Schmidt. Karen Elizabeth Schmitz. Kelly Marie Schroeder. Olivia Keffler Schweninger. Paloma Marie Sebastian. Catherine Mary Sennert. Bethany Marie Sidla. Kelly Kathleen Symbieta. Gretchen Ann Sitzer. Caitlin Hanlon Skluzacek. Maria Catherine Slivnik. Anne Kathleen Smith. Alyssa Marie Sorensen. Caitlin Marie Savada. Shelby Christine Spinner. Leah Marie St. Ors. Shelby Noel Stang. Hannah Marie Stevens. Jessica Rose Studnitsky. Kelly DeGonda Sullivan. Caitlin Elizabeth Summers. Mojie Sun. Stacy Jean Schwiel. Jamie Lynn Swanson. Avidan Hannah Tabak. Kathleen Christine Talbert. Jessica Nadine Patricia Thompson. Mariah Jean Thompson. Ellen Thuray Thompson. Letitia Giovanna Thurston. Samantha Claire Thury. Krista Marie Trout. Haley Jo Van Gelder. Lee Vang. Lisa Vang. Pawua Vang. Frances Lee Varner. Natalie Elizabeth Vasile. Catherine Marie Verkota. Megan Ann Voss. Maigas Vu. Alexa Ray Wachter. Sarah Lorraine Walsh. Lindsay Johanna Wales. E. Wong. Regan Spencer Ward. Lindsay Marie Weber. Hannah Rose Walensky, Ashley Rose Welters, Laura Ann Wensman, Kate Elizabeth Wessel, Leah Marie Wiechek, Sarah Marie Wierzbinski, Dawn Teresa Williams, Mackenzie Rose Wilson, Erin O'Mara Whistler, Whitney Lynn Whaler, Samantha Magdalene Wilson, Maoxinyu Wu, Kelly Jiang, Gaosong Ashley Yang, Mai Chua Yang, Mai Chua Yang, Sue Yang, Alu Yesak, Kayla Jo Zeltinger, Yi K. Jung, Catherine Jean Zarowski, candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science: Samantha Alexandra Allen, Elizabeth Mary Benson, Catherine Marguerite Bowe, Brooke Danielle Brodeur, Bethany Lynn Carlson, Kelly Mackin Cass, Emily Noel Christensen, Carrie Ann Dingman, Kelly Kathleen Evans, Danielle Christine Getzky, Marissa Jo Hannenberg, Janelle Josephine Hodorf, Megan Elizabeth Jager, Janet Frida Kamenge, Emily Elizabeth Kite, Catherine Pamela Kirchner, Shelby Ann Kitterman, Lisa Rose Kranz, Brittany Domenica Matson, Kelsey Lorraine McQuillan, Brianna Marie Meyer, Melissa Elizabeth Nathan, Elizabeth Susan Knightsky, Stephanie Marie Ozak, Elizabeth Lee Olson, Charlene Marie Pakeman, Hannah Marie Piney, Lisa Marie Ritzer, Amanda Julie Rolls, Rebecca Joy Schwendeman, Melissa Laurel Stoner, Jenny Vang, Alicia Lewis Voigt. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the class of 2014.
To you, the graduates of the class of 2014, congratulations. As president of the St. Ben's Alumni Board, I am delighted to officially welcome you to the Alumni Association, an amazing group of more than 21,000 women in the United States and around the world. This is the Benny Network, a vibrant and dynamic group of women who are our colleagues, mentors, and our closest friends. St. Ben's women have many things in common. We have a degree from a top-ranked Catholic liberal arts college for women. We are strong, spiritual, smart, resilient, bold, confident, adventurous, and innovative. We share a love for St. Ben's, founded by the Sisters of St. Benedict, remarkable women in their own right, guided by their rich tradition and pioneering spirit. You and I are destined to make a difference in the communities where we live and work, and we do. I encourage you to come back to campus often because St. Ben's will always be your home. And you should also know that we alumni get together often, whenever and wherever we can. It has been more than 20 years since I was sitting in your seat, patiently waiting for the culmination of the ceremony. I was feeling a little anxious about trading my St. Ben's world for the real world. Trust me, you will be more than fine. You will be fantastic. I am excited to watch your futures unfold, and I look forward to hearing about your accomplishments. Congratulations to each of you, and welcome to the Benny Network and the Alumni Association.
And a blessing for our graduates as we send them forth. Creator of the centuries, center of all wisdom, giver of life, may you be praised for these graduates from the College of St. Benedict who have lived and learned with us these last years. They have celebrated with us this century of connections as we give thanks for the first 100 years of the college and ask your guidance as we enter the next century of living and learning at the College of St. Benedict. We celebrate the commencement of these young women who have been formed by the 1,500-year-old Benedictine heritage prepared for them by the Sisters of the Order of St. Benedict as they established this campus of St. Benedict's Monastery and the College of St. Benedict over 100 years ago. By the power of your presence, Lord, may the Catholic Benedictine gospel values they have learned and to which they have witnessed continue to direct their decisions and determine their priorities. As they have experienced inspired learning, may they continue the tradition of inspiring lives. With grateful hearts, may they always cherish the unparalleled opportunities they have experienced as students of the College of St. Benedict, experiences that have linked the liberal arts and sciences with professional preparation, civic engagement, leadership, and global competence. Filled with confidence and humility, may they exhibit an unwavering focus on the development of women as leaders, professionals, and scholars, and may they continue to engage, learn from, and work with people from a rich variety of cultural backgrounds and identities. Through their dedication and commitment, may they embrace the changes and the challenges that impact their life with the same courage, strength, and boldness of our foremothers. May they always persist in cultivating habits of spiritual, social, cultural, and intellectual engagement and initiative for the common good. And may the centrality of God, habits of prayer, and critical reflection on the meaning, values, and purpose of life continue to form and fashion their lives. Finally, may they know of our care and concern for them. May they know that our prayers go with them and that they will forever be held in our hearts as we ask you, God, to watch over and protect them now and always. Amen.
Now for something totally different. Nickelodeon. love that team. I love it. Last dance. Any request for the last installment? Bells up last time. Here we go. We'll move it along. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Nice job. Wait, it's amazing when the